This week on Counsil Customs, we're going to start demolition on this car. Get it down to the bare frame. Stuff like that. I'm going to let her do some of that for a little bit. And I'm going to start taking the hood off, take the trunk off, figure out the best way to get these doors out of here as well. Start working on that stuff. I need to get the seats out and the carpet on the floor, possibly headliner and inner panels, stuff like that I need to just strip out of there so I can get down to the easiest way to get the body off the car, because we just want the frame. We don't want the engine, but I still need the engine to be drivable until like this weekend. And we've already started over here as well. But I want the engine to be drivable until this weekend. But besides that, we just need to start getting the car torn into pieces. So that's what I'm going to get started on now, is pulling off panels. I'm going to let my daughter have some fun with a hammer on the fender over there and see how far we can get today. All right, so a couple days later, we haven't made a whole lot of progress on getting everything completely torn down. I mean, we just haven't made a lot of progress the past couple of days. Back seats out, all of the, basically from here back is completely stripped. Up here in the front, I've got a lot of the dash and everything taken apart. I didn't pull this out because it's got vacuum lines on the back side of it. And right now, the car still runs good. That's my point right there. I had a potential buyer come over and test drive the car. And as you can see, it ran good. Now, my plan is to take the battery, take a couple more videos of the car running, just in case if for some reason, you know, he has a major life event or something and he can't buy the engine still. I have videos and proof of everything running good, just so that way if I do need to find another buyer, I can. Besides that, once I take the last couple of videos and pictures and everything, it's time to start pulling the last of this stuff out. So my next step is pull the battery out of the front. I want to pull the seats out of here, pull the carpet out of here, pull the front fenders off, strip down everything I can in the front, then start tracing the wiring out of here, so that way I can get the car unbolted from the frame. And we happen to borrow a forklift from our buddy Calvin. Appreciate that. I know you watch the videos. Thank you for helping us on that. And I'm gonna start pulling the cab off of this frame. So my plan is to get as far as I can, hopefully get this cab pulled today. Let's see if we can make it happen. I've been hounding away on this thing, getting everything off of it that I possibly can. So now that I've got it pretty much freed up as far as I can tell, I've got all the body bolts pulled out of it. The only thing is back here in the trunk, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the fuel tank setup yet. So I did go ahead and just cut around the fuel tank area, and the gas cap. Oop, good thing I thought about that. The gas cap is loosened where whenever we pull the body off, this should just fall out, leaving the gas filler neck, the fuel tank, and that section of floor. It's cut over here on this side, over here, all the way around. I've got, like I said, all the body bolts pulled out. The wiring harness is all just laying up here on the ground that goes to all this stuff. We've got the forklift underneath it. I just found out where the corner of this was at with the back of my head. So now I'm gonna have my wife lift the body while I walk around and make sure that everything's good as it's lifting up. Make sure if there's anything needs to be cut, moved, twisted, yanked out, I can get it done. So I'm gonna have her operate the forklift, and we're gonna try to get this body off the frame. All right, so yesterday we got the body off of the Crown Vic chassis. Today we spent the morning here kind of cleaning up all the loose ends of all the trash and everything that's not going to get used on the project. So here's the body sitting out here. We're going to haul it off to scrap. All those doors and everything are going to go to scrap. I've got to pull the engine out of the frame, so I can set it aside and wait on my buddy to let me know when he's ready for that, and I can get that to him. And as for everything over here that's filling up the back of the dually, this is all of the trash and plastics and all that stuff that's not going to go to the scrapyard, that all needs to go to a dumpster. So there's all of that stuff. We have all this scrap here, scrap there. There's a hood there. And I'll probably go ahead and just haul off a lot of my useless scrap that's been piling up back here as well. Because a lot of this stuff, you don't need to take one run. But once you got enough of it, there's one good healthy run to the scrapyard. So that way, all of this can get out of here. I went ahead and moved out the factory truck frame for right now. Went ahead and just set it out here for time being, because we're about to start putting that stuff onto that frame. I'm gonna get this cab after I get that engine and everything out of that frame. I'm gonna try to make it my goal today of get this engine out of the frame, and I want to just set the cab on this frame for mock-up. I want to see that cab from out there sitting on top of this frame. But to do that, we're gonna need to get the drive shaft out, hack the exhaust off, unbolt the transmission. Up here in the front, I've already loosened up all this stuff, but I've got to disconnect the hoses from down low. All the top hoses are done, but all the bottom hoses I need to get off. Unbolt the engine mounts, pull this out, pull the engine transmission out, and we're ready to go. Hey, did you know that if you buy a police interceptor, the drive shaft says police? I didn't. I got to get the wiring harness off of the starter solenoid and the ground wire real fast, so this harness can go in the trash and we can get the hoses off the front, pull the front core support stuff or radiator support, all of the cooling system out of here, and then we can start working on getting all of this out. So I'll get y'all set up and start pulling all this apart. All right, so we got all this stuff out of here. Made a heck of a mess. Got some kitty litter on the floor. And then drive shaft's out, engine's unbolted, transmission's unbolted, engine's unbolted, exhaust is cut out. Already got the chains put on the engine and everything's hooked to the forklift. So let's see if we can pull this out of here. That's it for this week. We got the frame out from underneath the Crown Vic. We did not get obviously the F100 cab is not sitting perfectly where it needs to sit, but it is sitting on the frame. So now, in the coming weeks, our plan is to get the cab secured to the frame, get it fully mocked into place exactly where it needs to sit, build the supports and everything for the back. We also need to get the 5.3 in here, get the mounts and everything made, but I'd like to get the cab mounted so we can set the engine as far back as possible to give us as much forward space as possible for radiator and all that kind of stuff. But appreciate y'all watching. Thank y'all for watching us fight with this truck and get everything done. And the following weeks, we're going to get more progress done, but I hope y'all can see the progress as we're planning now. Hopefully you get a little better picture in your head. But appreciate y'all watching. See y'all next week.